3D6 down the line.
All right, that is episode 73 in the books. Well done, guys. Got a lot of cool stuff done.
Sweet, man. The Vision Quest stuff was awesome. That was super exciting stuff, man.
Yeah.
And this was my first duo. I'm so happy. Mike, that was so much fun, man.
Yeah, we were trying to...
Is this really?
We were trying to think how many duos that you've been on, Mike. Like, we know that you did the one with Mort, with Ted, like a long time ago. But did you do one with David? I can't remember if you did another one.
I think I've done two, but I can't remember the other one as well as I remember the Mort and oh god, that was Gorand.
It was Gorand.
Yeah, it was one where
Gorand.
The big statues like spat out the parchments, and we had to fight the snakes that fell out of the statues, and
Yeah.
that was cool. It was pretty cool. That was good stuff.
It was like Yost and the Little Guys. I think I called that episode.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was a good one.
You guys got to get Yost back in the action, man. That poor guy's been sitting idle too long.
Oh no.
Oh yeah,
That's
poor
okay,
Yost, man.
Yost be stealing all the thunder, man. Yeah, that's on this level too. That room is on this level too.
Mm-hmm.
The
level is big.
This level is huge.
I can't express how satisfying it is when we make these little connections, right? Like, we've talked about the value and of engaging the players with player drawn maps, but this little part of it, right? Not just like, you get the room shaped right, but when you're actually able to connect things and like fill in these gaps that have been there for so long, it's so satisfying.
Very satisfying. Yeah. There is something about like more accurate mapping, because I know there's like a whole school of thought too, where like the whole notion of player mapping is just so you know like where you've been or where you can escape to, so you can make it very basic, like circles and lines sort of thing, which is totally legit. But there is a certain added element of, like you said, like satisfaction from drawing a relatively accurate map and making those connection points and being like, yes,
Well, there's that whole school of thought that, like a bunch of guys in a dark tunnel wouldn't be able to accurately map their surroundings the way that we are. But I mean, for me personally, how many secrets and doors and things like that have we found just on the basis of, and that's happened at least a couple of times in this session alone, finding secret doors just because it made sense for there to be something there.
Yeah.
And in an adventure like this, with this scope of the detail, it's so important to be able to do that. So, man, if someone's running Arden Vool just doing like a hand-drawn map, man, I give them mad props, but I think they're going to miss like huge amounts of like the content.
And I think that was like a deliberate, at least my understanding is just based upon how he designed it, a deliberate callback by Richard Barton to what's been well documented from like OD&D, like the original guys, like Gary and Dave and like Rob Kuntz and guys making those original dungeons, where the whole, it's been well documented that they were expected, like players would map those because they would draw those dungeons on their own with those secret rooms. They could only, the only way you would ever know to search is because of the blank spot on the map sort of thing,
Right.
So
right. And then the other thing about it that is super interesting as far as the mapping goes is just, well, actually, this is kind of a side part. The themes of the sections. This area is loaded with freaking traps, like loaded with traps that we have not seen in other parts of Arden Vool, right? Like, and so tonight, me just basically searching that room was purely on the basis that there's a ton of traps in this area. Otherwise, I would have gone sauntering right through that door like a Muppet and fallen to my death.
It was so smart. It was such a cool OSR play of you just to deduce that and to take the extra caution, because I was looking at it and I was like, there's no way to really telegraph this, you know what I mean? And I was waiting for you to tell me you stepped into the room, and it just would have opened up, and that's 3D6 right there, but you were really smart about it.
I mean, it's interesting to me because, and I think Mike was mentioning this, like the telegraphing in this instance is this whole area has a bunch of traps in it.
Correct. 100%. That's the telegraph. You learned the lesson, which is amazing. It's so cool,
right? Because there are big sections of this dungeon where we've gone through and we haven't been like, I tap the floor and I check for holes and all that stuff, because the rest of the area hasn't telegraphed that this is a trapped zone.
Right. And that should also tell you something. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say, like, can you imagine if Monkey Town had the level of traps that this does, with the number of times that we've had to flee top speed through there? Like, it would just be death, like, all the time.
But and
Go ahead.
that actually leads into what I was going to say is the Plunger Town level. Uh, you've been able to gather sort of like what the purpose of the level is, or at least like what kind of people are expected to be in that level. Same for sections of this level as well, and you can see in this little subsection of the debouchement level, like it's obvious that obviously the public wasn't wanted to be in this area, and it looks also as well that the priests themselves were not expected to sort of be wandering blindly through all of these tunnels, right? Because of the traps that were so well hidden, or you would deduce maybe that if they were, that they were all given warning of what to look for, that sort of thing. But why is the area so heavily trapped? That's one thing that you really haven't actually found out.
Well, I mean, I've been assuming that it's kind of following that like Egyptian tomb method of protecting from grave robbers, right? Like they know that people are going to eventually come in here, and there are some very precious tombs throughout this level, and so they want to trap as many people who are searching for those as possible.
That is a very good deduction.
The thing about that is the most direct route to where the priors are buried is not trapped.
But it's well hidden.
It's well hidden.
Yeah, those are secret
they
doors.
Rely on secret doors way more than they, rely on traps. This entire northern of the two things that are coming off cephalopod room, the northern tunnel, the northern passageways are all freaking traps. Everything is death. So it's almost like they were just like, maybe we can kill a bunch of idiots that come wandering through here in that corridor. The other one, we just need to hide really well.
Yeah. Well, also, like if you think about that whole southern east-west passageway, it ends in that room with all the chairs or benches around the outside, and that looks like a terminus, right? Like that looks like a natural place where this would end, and the only egress from that room is hidden in secret.
That's technically true. There is actually that eastern passageway that leads.
Oh, there is. Oh, that was open. I thought that was secret. No?
It was open, but it led to a terminus. It looked to be a terminus, and there was it looked to be just like a storage room, right? Yeah. So you would naturally think that there's nothing there,
You know what I wish we could do is I wish we had the maps time stamped, so you could see the progression. Like this is what we got on session 4, session 6. We added this section. It would be almost cool to be able to do like a slideshow. Yeah, like a time lapse of us filling in all the stuff.
Yeah. Another thing that. Well, there's a lot of cool things that you discovered, but you immediately bypassed it. But this was a huge thing that you discovered. You found another level entrance.
Yeah. I was saying, and this is down from here. Like most of the things that we found have been from here going up. I mean, there's a stairwell that is the healing hot tub, like north of that, there's that spiral staircase that goes down. But
that's it's supposed to lead to Gog, is what you've heard, right?
Yeah. Behind the secret guy, we had to poke his eyes. But the most of the things that we found on this thing so far have gone up from here back up to Plunger Town.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think it's true.
I don't even know what other doorways we found. So
they're in the north, and you found 2. They both lead up. One leads to Plunger Town in the east, and one that's across the chasm, and one actually led up to that
basement, right?
That basement, yeah. You went the other direction whenever you were doing the scouring.
Yeah, and we heard also that rumor, and we got busy and we couldn't get to it. But our plan was to go and let kind of that northern east-west passage that goes by where we got the mott feathers, and we know that out that way there's the rumor of a stair, another stair that goes up to the Plunger Town level. So
That's true.
There just haven't been that many down, and so I'm really curious about this one. But I think you're right, Mike, that we didn't go down there.
Well, I mean, come on, man, we had a plan.
Yeah. The plan's good, and I'm happy with it. But there's stairs going down.
There's a really huge down way too, and it's called the chasm. So, and
Yeah,
David has always been a
that's the
proponent of
expressway.
using that one. Yeah, that is the
That's the
expressway.
express.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, dude, we have so much stuff. John, I have all these like weird spells on the scroll, man. I don't know what these are.
Yeah, there are some funky ones. Command and dispel
bones.
magic are pretty. Those are normal. Chant is actually like an old first edition one. So we can, that's like it's in Osric. You can find that one.
Okay.
Feline senses is a new one. I'll find it right here. I can tell you. So it's a 4th level cleric spell. Ooh la la. You acquire enhanced senses analogous to those of a cat. For the duration, the cleric has infravision 60 feet. You can detect and identify smells at 60 feet, and your listen checks receive a +2 bonus.
Oh, nice.
Which is no joke on a d6. In addition, you have a 50% chance to identify unknown but non-magical comestibles, food and liquids. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and it lasts for 2 + 1 to 3 turns. Odd duration, but pretty long.
So, John, here's a question for you. Wizards can copy a spell into a spell book.
Yes.
Clerics can't do that, but could these spells be added? Like if you're if you're able to cast a level 4 spell, could these be added to the list of spells that you could prepare?
Yes, it would be the equivalent of like spell research, but it would be something that's more like attuning with your god and and requesting the ability, that sort of thing. But it would take it would be the sort of same mechanic as spell research.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just have this vision like, hey, Lysion, these other guys, they give a cool spell. Come on, man. Bring us some love.
That's what I would have ruled is like sort of add it to your repertoire of spells that you can select from. You would have to do spell research, which I think is fair because clerics already had that big bonus of having their entire spell selection to choose from, unlike a wizard, which is limited by their book.
And armor and weapons.
Yeah.
And
they're pretty awesome. Yeah.
What is knit bones? Do you have that handy?
Knit bones. Yeah. That's also a 4th level cleric spell. Touch. It is, you can channel divine magic, repair seers' injuries in a human body. It doesn't restore hit points, but effectively knits together broken bones, closes up separating wounds, and restores all forms of lesser injuries, resulting in a reduction of fitness, which includes lameness, blindness, and deafness. So it does not help with magical ailments like curses and feeble mind, nor can it regrow severed or destroyed body parts or organs, which requires regeneration. So
close.
But I mean, blindness and deafness is definitely something that you guys, have or will face, a lot. So that's pretty cool.
So back when Varder got eaten by the plant, before we finally called the ball and just said he gotten digested, right? You were like, well, you're blind now. You're covered in burns. He was pretty hosed, but a spell like this would restore his sight caused by an injury.
Yeah, I would say so. Yep.
Well, that's cool.
And so are we currently using a maiming rule? Is there a maiming rule in place? I don't even know.
No,
that's what I was going to ask. Like with our current death and dying rules, you could choose, that permanent handicap, right? Like that's one of the things that you could choose. I wonder, we might have to talk about this further to see how we want to implement it.
Yeah, there would have to be some sort of adjustment because the intent by making those rules is that you have to suffer the permanent effect. So it would be like a big time cheat to allow knit bones to heal that, Sure. So I would say it's be more something that's
exactly what it's designed for.
Yeah, I know, but then there's no choice.
Rule things,
we made that out of a vacuum, not anticipating a knit bones unique spell in Arden Fool. You know what I mean? So
what if it had to be done within a certain time period of the injury? That would probably be a pretty fair.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to float it with David, see what he thinks about it. But regardless, I would definitely work for something that's imposed immediately, like in combat. Like if a blindness is sort of put upon you, you could use knit bones to heal it.
And I remember, for things like early on when Av was, pounded like a tent stake into the ground by that shambling mound, right? Like there things like maybe that blood loss that he was suffering for a few days. That seems like that would be in the realm of something that maybe that could.
That would have worked because those death and dismemberment rules had time, like lengths, like durations of like when they would last, and you could definitely use nip bones to shorten that amount.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Well, we'll figure it out.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Yeah. So I think we'll call it a night. I think that was pretty successful. We got a lot of cool stuff done.
That was very awesome. I'm very
That
happy.
was awesome, John. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, John.
Yeah. Very.
Thanks,
fun.
Mike. Thanks, John.